Australians are not adequately considering their options when saving for retirement and should seek more guidance from financial advisors, according to research from Rest Industry Super. A white paper commissioned by Rest Industry Super, What's Next, looked to understand more about the financial health of Australians aged 35 to 49. It found that while Australians may be financially responsible when it comes to paying off their mortgage, many are neglecting to save for the future, placing them in a risky situation for retirement. Despite a steady income stream and at least a decade of working still ahead of them, the research showed that only 15% of respondents were prioritising long-term savings, including retirement. The RBA stated that it expects economic growth in Australia to remain below trend for the coming quarters. The RBA again decided to leave the official cash rate on hold at 2.5% in its November meeting. RBA Governor Glenn Stevens commented that in Australia, most data is consistent with moderate growth in the economy. In the 12 months to September 2014, the Big Four banks collectively lost 0.4 percentage points of home loan market share relative to other banks, according to Rate City analysis of APRA banking statistics. Rate City's database showed that over 1,000 home loans have had rate cuts out of cycle since July, when the Commonwealth Bank initiated a flurry of out-of-cycle rates cuts as it lowered its 5-year fixed rate to 4.99%. Japan's economy dropped into a recession after a second straight quarter of contraction, according to official data. The country's GDP shrank 0.4% in the July to September quarter, or an annualized rate of 1.6%. The market's median forecast for the quarter was for a 0.5% expansion, or a 2.47% annualized growth rate, according to a survey of some 40 economists conducted by the Japan Center for Economic Research. While none of the 18 economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal had forecast a contraction, the median forecast was for a 2.25% expansion. President Barack Obama used his G20 summit address in Brisbane to urge world leaders to take responsibility to invest and create jobs. Obama stated that the US cannot carry the world economy on its back, and it is incumbent on other G20 economies to contribute to a global economic recovery. Obama said abolishing protectionism and cracking down on corruption were key to reaching growth goals. Advanced Europe is experiencing a multi-speed recovery, according to IMF's latest World Economic Outlook. The IMF also stated that growth is still weak in the euro area, with lingering risks of more protracted low growth and low inflation. The IMF claimed growth in emerging and developing Europe is also uneven, although domestic demand is strengthening in many countries in the region. The government has confirmed that the enhanced industry-wide public register of financial advisors will be up and running by March 2015. This register of financial advisors will enable investors, employers and ASIC to verify financial advisors' credentials and be confident that they are appropriately qualified and experienced, according to the government. The register of financial advisors will include the advisor's name, registration number, status and experience, the advisor's qualifications and professional association memberships, the advisor's licensee, previous licensees and/or authorized representatives, and business name, product areas the advisor can provide advice on, any banned disqualifications or enforceable undertakings, and ownership details of the financial services licensee and disclosure of the ultimate parent company where applicable. Financial advisors will soon need to keep considerable additional records proving they have complied with the best interests duty law firm The Fold Legal warned. Advisors providing personal advice to retail clients on or after 23 March 2015 must keep records of best interests, the information the advisor relied on, and the actions the advisor took to show that they acted in the best interest of the client. If they relied on the best interest safe harbour criteria to meet their obligations, they must document these steps, the advice, and the reasons why it would be reasonable to conclude that the advice was appropriate had the advisor satisfied the best interest duty. Conflicts of interest. If the advisor knew or should have known about a conflict of interest, the information relied on, and the actions they took to show that they prioritized the client's interest over their own interests, or anyone associated with the advisor or its licensee. APRA has released a Prudential Practice Guide that provides guidance on good practices for insurers in relation to group insurance arrangements. Prudential Practice Guide LPG 270 Group Insurance Arrangements outlines prudent practices in relation to group insurance arrangements, with a focus on life insurance provided to registrable superannuation entity licensees.